us, I swear, now go with the go so. Yes, men, they kill us every day for them busy, they campaign again. After they failed all the promises they made, oh, then they praise themselves. Why the masses were supposed to give them the praises we they here they run to? Move it up. I blame it on the religious leaders. I blame it on the traditional rulers. People were supposed to fight for the people, they don't compromise. Shame on the rebellious brothers. People will cry with us during answers. Today them don't join those oppressors, they eat jello. Something on the smell of. Very soon now we go perceive them. We have up where this government they cause my time bomb. It go soon explode. Revolution they come up. It is very close and they feel more. When the power of the people we triumph, the power of the people in power. They no even care, they no even send. Say the people they die of hunger. Hungry dog is an angry dog. One day you go bite the owner. Idle man is the devil workshop. Many youths for Nigeria no good job. And the country the youths got no future. The country is gone, that's on period. Move it up. I blame it on the judiciary leaders. I blame it on the electoral officials. People were supposed to save the nation, but they collect it bribe. Shame on the armed forces. People were supposed to protect the masses. But now them they shoot us anytime they hear our voice.
In the name of Jesus, I will see the end of this year. This year will never see my end. I will see the end of this year. This year will never see my end. 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 In the name of Jesus, I will see the end of this year. This year will never see my end. I will see the end of this year. This year will never see my end. 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 I will see the end of this year. This year will never see my end. 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 I will see the end of this year. This year will never see my end. 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 This year will never see.
Onye si na ga-ata anya ahụhụ ma ọ bụ na anyị fee arụsị anyị wee na-efe arụsị mgbe were iwe gị na ọmụma gị wee bịa leta anyị ụmụ anyị wee na-anwụsị ụfọdụ nọ n'ụzọ ije ha anaghị alọta ụlọ ọzọ nne na nna wee na-ata ahụhụ wee na-ata ikikere eze nwaanyị kunye ka ọ gaa ubi gaa rụọ ọrụ Fulani chiri ehi bata ebe ala gị n'iyi okwu ebepụ ya isi anyị pụta anyị kpọpụ onye nwe anyị n'ugwu Awụsa ahụ ejide anyị wee gbuo ihe ọ bụla anyị mara aka n'ime ha si maka ha gaa n'ihu elekwa ọdụ ụgbọ mmiri n'igwe ọcha bụ ememiri ọya nke dị na Kalaba otu aka ahụ anyị na-ala nsọ ebe Biafra bụ ndị kọstọm sokwenye anyị n'etiti anyị anọghị n'ime mmiri kama kọstọm juru ebe niile ha wee na-ata anyị ahụhụ anyị kwuo ekosịpụta anyị ka kpọchie anyị kwuo ekwasịpụta anyị ka gbagbuo anyị onye nwe anyị na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe ọ bụ ụzọ dị agha ka isi na-ebu ndị iro anyị n'anya wee karịa ndị nke gị akwa anyị bụ ụmụ Chineke akwa ọba aha anyị ka anyị na-aza akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza ike Chukwu akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza amara Chineke akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chisom akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chizọba nna nke dị nsọ onye ime eluigwe dịka otu onye iro dị na nyebe ụmụ gị bịa ka iwe zọpụta anyị bịa ka iwe napụta anyị n'aka ọjọọ ihe bịa ka iwe lụọrọ anyị ọgụ bịa ka iwe dịtụ ozu ọgbọgọwa mgbe emilere Goliath Chineke nna nke igwe ruo ememila Fero site otu a mee ka Fero ka ọ guzo n'ihu ụmụ ndị anyị ga-ebi ka o wee taa akwụkwọ igiri ụtọ ọzọ ị ga na-edu anyị n'ụzọ niile nke ezi omume ọ bụla adịghị na anyị na-aga ndagwurugwu onyinye ọnwụ ọ bụ nwa bụ ekekere n'igwe n'ụwa nwunye ọbụla kere gị n'oge malite n'oge ọgwụgwụ kama anyị onwe anyị gwa anọkwa ahụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ n'ezie kama ma akpọ na okwu gị na-anọgide ego mgbe ebighị ebi ọ bụ ya mere anyị ji were gị n'anya isi anyị wee na-asị nna nke dị nsọ bịa ka iwe gosi anyị Biafra na ndụ na-abụghị n'ọnwụ bịa ka iwe mee ka ebe gị na amara gị wee kpuchiri anyị ka uwe bịa ka iwe zọpụta ndị nke gị bịa ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee bịa ka anyị na-ewetụta na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'aha gị onye bụ Chukwu abịa ma onye si na ya ga-ata anyị ahụhụ.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this very amazing section. I welcome everyone that has connected. I wish you a happy Boxing Day. We are still in the mood of the celebration of Christmas. The celebration is still ongoing, and today is Boxing Day. It is a Boxing Day, and I believe every one of you have received the gifts, more especially the gift that was sent by the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. That is the talk of the day. So I welcome every one of you. I appreciate everyone that have connected wherever you are connecting from. Please like and share this program to all platforms. Share to family and friends, share to everyone to join us on this very episode to be able to understand what is going on and join us on this mission. Our duty here is to continue to bring update that is coming from the Zoological Republic and across the world on what is going on. So as you are celebrating the Christmas, do not forget that we still have responsibilities. If you are in Biafra land, as you're celebrating, you must be security conscious. Very, very important. Be security conscious. Don't be carried away. Don't forget yourself. Always remember that you have a responsibility and you must continue to follow up on the event that is happening. Pay attention to every single thing that is happening and make sure you are not distracted or deceived. We know that some are out there, so many wrong informations are flying right, left, and center. But we urge you to pay attention to the right information. As you pay attention, you will not be deceived or distracted. So that is why we come with every little opportunity we have to give you update on what is going on. This evening, we are here once again, just like we did in our morning section. We did what we had to do. The same also as we have come in the evening section, we will continue to preach the message. The mission is getting to everyone that need to hear us. So wherever you are, pay attention to the message. that is coming both from the international media and the ones that are coming from their conventional media, for you to know that the game have changed. It is no longer business as usual. And wherever you are, you must not allow yourself to be distracted. You must not allow yourself to be deceived. You must continue to pay attention to the situation. That will help you to understand what is going on. So let us listen to this very update for you to be able to know. And then from there, we will go into their media in Nigeria and get more information.
Yeah, Peter, it's notable when a major military move takes place on a holiday. Do you think that the symbolism of protecting Christians on Christmas factored into this timing?
Knowing President Trump, yes. And, he's got Raising Cane as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. He is the person that President Trump credits with coming up with the idea of basically the way that they quickly and decisively took out ISIS in his first term. The president always tells this story about how he was getting a briefing from some military advisors, and they said it was going to take months or years to take out ISIS. He talked to Dan Kane, who is now the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and he came up with a way to do it in weeks or months, and then that was that. And so, yes, the symbolism of doing this on Christmas should not be ignored.
Hey, Peter, is there any indication that there will be more dialogue between the White House and the Nigerian president? I mean, remember, over the past year, we've seen Nigeria's leadership sort of downplaying that there's a problem there when we've obviously seen what's unfolding in Nigeria, and now this strike sort of coming at a surprise level. Do we anticipate further engagement, any meetings set?
We don't have any word about any kind of engagement like that, like you're asking, based on President Trump's statement. It seems like President Trump isn't really eager to engage until ISIS terrorists are basically out of the equation.
Peter, you and I have had a chance to cover the White House for quite some time. I'm just curious, in your experience, have you seen anything like this? Is this atypical from your perspective? And what, if anything, might we expect to happen beyond what has already transpired?
No, this would be consistent with President Trump's MO, which is to address the threats that global terrorists pose without putting American troops on the ground. They were obviously in harm's way while they were carrying out this attack last night on the ISIS terrorists, and there is no reason to think that anybody had any injuries on the U.S. side. But President Trump's MO is use American military might from as far away as possible and not put any more American boots on the ground, which is what happened last night.
Yeah, and the fact that he carried out these attacks in coordination with the Nigerian government is key. And exactly. As you said, one of his greatest achievements was crushing the Islamic State Caliphate in his first term, and he's not going to let it bubble up again. That is for sure. Peter DC live for us in Washington. Peter, thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Peter.
And take a look at this comment.
You have heard it. That is the latest update we got, and Donald Trump have given the warning that he is not stopping. And as we speak, some troops are already on their way to Nigeria, but they are saying that they're not going to commit more troops on the ground. So, but no matter what happens, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. So wherever you are, you must prepare for what is coming. You must prepare for what is coming. As long as you are genuinely seeking for your freedom, you want security and safety, no matter your region, no matter your location, no matter your tribe, this is the time for you to open up and be whom you are supposed to be. This is the time for you to be prepared. Wherever you are, you must prepare yourself, more especially those who have traveled to Nigeria in holiday or whatever. You must be security conscious at this particular point in time. Remember, these terrorists, they are not just going to be quiet. They're going to do something. these terrorists will definitely do something. Take it from me. You know how they operate. They will definitely do something. So everybody must be very, very careful wherever you are. So while we continue to look forward and see what comes up in the following days, because we definitely know that something is going to come up, or whatever comes up, I believe that the people will brace up for it and be able to do what they had to do. So, as we are still speaking, let us go into the update that we have from their own media this morning. The latest update that is coming from Nigerian media on this very issue.
It is OG's favorite day of the week, which is Friday. And here she is with stories trending around the world.
Good morning to you guys. Let's begin what's trending today. With the nation reacting to the multiple surprise state strikes launched in what has been described as a joint operation between the United States and Nigeria, the Islamic State in the northwestern state of Sokoto. The attack was announced in a series of messages, statements, and videos released overnight from both governments on Thursday, which began with a post from US President Donald Trump on his Truth Social profile, in which he stated that the attack came at his direction as Commander-in-Chief. And I'll read Trump's statement. He wrote, "Tonight, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched a powerful and deadly strike against ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians at levels not seen for many years and even centuries. I have previously warned these terrorists that if they did not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight, there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes, as only the United States is capable of doing. Under my leadership, our country will not allow radical Islamic terrorists to prosper. May God bless our military. And Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continue." And this was a very powerful message from Donald Trump yesterday. We were all sleeping when this message came out. Well, here is a footage from the operation showing what officials describe as a divisive strike against the terror group on Christmas night. Well, U.S. authorities have warned that further strikes will follow if the violence against Christians continues. But, this message was, gathered a lot of mixed reactions. A lot of Nigerians, didn't really understand whether or not the strike came at the order of the U.S. president, like he has written, or as a joint operation, which we have seen from the Nigerian government. And I'll take this tweet from Characteristics, who wrote, "I am almost convinced that the response from Nigeria's foreign affairs was an afterthought. Clearly, the United States cannot be restrained from eliminating notorious terrorists. President Trump's statement did not suggest that the operation was carried out in collaboration with the Nigerian government. His words were explicit, at my direction as Commander-in-Chief, not in partnership with Nigeria. Let's even assume, without conceding, that the Nigerian government was aware of the operation. Why then did the statement not come directly from the president himself, using the same authoritative language, at my directive, as Commander-in-Chief? I be president, they sleep. Sleep where he no sleep when INEC declare him president at 3 a.m. I strongly doubt that the Nigerian government was aware of the timing of the targeted strike. The public should not be deceived by after-the-fact statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What we are witnessing looks more like reactive diplomacy than proactive security leadership. And I'm reading this tweet because this is the minds of a lot of Nigerians who rightly believe that this might not be a joint, attack. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth confirmed the launch in a post on X, thanking the Nigerian government for cooperating with the United States on the attack. And here is Pete's tweet. He wrote, "The president was clear last month. The killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and elsewhere must end. And the Department of War is always ready. So ISIS found out tonight on Christmas. More to come. Grateful for Nigerian government support and cooperation. Merry Christmas." Even AFCOM released a statement, and I'll read that. They wrote, "At the direction of the President of the United States and Secretary of War, and in coordination with Nigerian authorities, U.S. Africa Command conducted strikes against ISIS terrorists in Nigeria on December 25th, 2025 in Sokoto State." Another confirmation there. Also, the Nigerian military has also confirmed conducting the precision strikes against ISIS elements in northwest Nigeria. In a statement released today, the Director of Defense Information, Major General Samilia Uba, said the operation was a joint effort between the armed forces of Nigeria and the United States, adding that the strikes were approved by federal government authorities and followed credible aimed at degrading the terrorist group's capability. Well, in the same statement, the Nigerian Army reiterated its commitment to restoring peace and security across Nigeria. And I'll take this final tweet, a reaction, gladdened my heart. Lucky wrote on X, "Yes, this is good news. What's confirmed U.S. strikes against ISIS elements in Sokoto State carried out in coordination with Nigeria. Beyond the headlines, this is a strong statement against terrorism and a reminder that global security is interconnected. For a nation bruised by insurgency, banditry, and bloodshed, disrupting extremist networks is no small win. If peace is the greatest gift any country can receive, then degrading terror cells that prey on innocent lives may be one of the most meaningful gifts Nigeria gets this season. Security first, everything else follows." Finally, on ground in Jabo village of Sokoto State, a new video showing the debris from the aftermath of the missile launch on the terrorists has made the rounds on social media. Let's take a look.
That's the actual thing that is in our way in Geopolitical now.
All right, that's a reaction on ground. The villagers have said that there was no casualty in this incident. However, this video highlights the human impact of these attacks and how ordinary citizens often have to deal with the consequences of the aftermath. And I'll take one final post on X. This person wrote, "Why bomb northwest Nigeria on Christmas, claiming to protect Christians, when experts say most killings there are from bandits fighting over land and resources, killing way more Muslims?" And that's another rhetoric that we have to deal with this whole intervention.
Very important for information management and ensuring that only the facts is what is shared at this point in time, because we've seen a number of responses to attacks. The first thing is that the first fact on ground is that it was a joint operation. Yes, you might criticize or not like the way in which the information was shared or the timing or who shared the information first, as I've just seen the PDP statement on these attacks, whereby I thought it was quite good to say that when it comes to joint operations like this, Nigeria ought to take the lead or at least share that responsibility to ensure that we're not hearing about what's happening on our own soil by a foreign party, even if it's the United States of America. So you can take that feedback away. But consistently, whether it's from the military, Director of Defense Information, or from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it is clear that Nigeria worked to the United States by providing credible intelligence and by approving the airstrikes before it happened. That's a statement on ground. That's what happened. It's important to put that out there. Now, I think it's also very dangerous to try to put a slant to it, so that, it's Christian, there's terrorism. And when we talk about terrorism, it makes sense, or it's the sensible thing to note is that it's not only where they operate that their cells are located. You can operate in the northeast and have cells in the northwest. And what we had said was that this was done after weeks of intelligence gathering, and so a response was done with regards to the first airstrikes. It has been said that this is the first, but potentially the first of a number of airstrikes if we do have issues around this instance. So I think it's important to put those facts out there. Another thing to mention that's important is that when we talk about the region most affected by terrorism and acts of terrorism, it's the northern region. And so the most important things on the mind of the people should be this: how does this affect us? Would this be finally a light at the end of this long tunnel of insecurity that we have had to endure for at least 15 years? And if that is the case, then all hands should be on deck to support the efforts of the Nigerian government to finally decimate the terrorists. The only other thing to then talk about is the number of casualties in terms of collateral damage. Yes, this is a thing because in the past we've seen where Nigerian Air Force strikes themselves, whether in Zamfara earlier this year or last year, the same Sokoto on Christmas Day had a few some civilian casualties. Every single Nigerian life matters. So what they're saying is that the reason why they keep using the word precision is that it was precise to attack the terrorists themselves with as minimum as possible, civilian collateral damage. This is the fact on ground currently. The most important thing, OG, is that finally we see a seriousness and a deliberateness to destroy and decimate terrorism and terrorists in Nigeria. Right. That is what the Nigerian people should be celebrating this morning.
I'm also getting reports from, Bayo Ononuga, he reposted the foreign ministry statement about the joint efforts, but I think that he alluded to the fact that the attack also occurred in Zamfara State, Rufai. I don't believe I greeted you all this morning. Good morning to both of you. Yes, we're here to work. How are you this morning? Rufai on fire.
So you alluded to the fact that it also happened in Zamfara State, in Sokoto State. And see, the attack has just even sent shockwaves everywhere around the northern part of the country this morning. Let's not deny that fact. What do we want? We want an end to terrorism, right? So why are we complaining about the first step? Because this is decisive. I mean, for the very first time, we talked about the fact that America didn't give us weapons due to the Leahy laws. Anyway, they sold Super Tucanos to us once Trump came in the first time. We talked about the fact that we might not have capacity to be able to fight these
stringent constitutions.
Yes, for the use.
Yes.
Well, okay, but it was during Buhari's time that Super Tucano finally came in.
Yeah, but
the process has started.
Government got
so Buhari finally got that
process.
Secondly, we talk about the fact that we can't do this alone. That we need expertise from America, isn't it? Didn't we all argue across board that we need expertise? In fact, we also argued about boots on the ground, because I am just trying to chronicle the conversation we had leading up to this. That's okay, maybe America can put boots on the ground and everything. So why, when America probably use a Tomahawk that I know that we don't even have in our military arsenal or fleets, because if I check the price of the Tomahawk missile, it's going to cost a lot. I'm not sure in any way in Nigerian arsenal we have it like a Tomahawk missile that can go about close to 8,500 or 2,500 kilometers. We use a long precision strike missile. It got in there. We had an attack. In fact, luckily or unluckily, the villagers have not complained of anything as regards a casualty. In fact, you can see the guerrillas hovering around there. It's just for us to be able to get a recce. Then why after that, we're now hearing a narrative by some people that, hey, why was it America? Secondly, some people are even trying to tell us to our face without providing facts that, hey, Nigeria didn't do anything with America. It's America alone that did it.
Well, that was how Trump posted. I feel like it was just At his command, as commander-in-chief. I mean, I thought that was, Trump style.
Yes, but we have seen from our own authority that it was a collaborative effort, and you need intelligence here. And I've also pointed the fact that it's not today that we've had that level of intelligence. Thirdly, then you now start to hear narrative about religious dynamics. All of a sudden, we all remember that. We all agreed leading up to this time that America should help us. Then the likes of Sheikh Gumi now said, I don't mind terrorists being killed, but as long as it's on holy hands like America, I have a problem with it. But the same Sheikh Gumi that doesn't mind on holy hands like America supplying aid through USAID that they used to feed poor children in the same other part of the country. He doesn't mind the aid though. The aid is not unholy. All of a sudden, to kill the bandits and the terrorists have become unholy. So Nigeria should go in there. Then the next narrative, all of a sudden they are now plotting, is the fact that, when you look at this, it's denting our sovereignty. The same thing that Nigeria admitted to, that it's us and America that worked on this. So they choose to ignore that statement, and now they are now saying it's denting our sovereignty. See, Nigeria, I know very well, in the coming weeks, it will continue. In fact, I think Sheikh Sani has even come out to say this morning that Nigeria should know that going forward, that Nigeria needs to solve its own problem internally. I said, we know all these things. But the question we're asking is, why is this strike all of a sudden causing jiggy and everything? But it became more of this reaction. It just shows that to a large extent, what we say we want, when we now start to see the results, some people don't get happy about it. And we need to be careful. Misinformation will continue in the coming days. So you see people try to skew narrative. But let's all, President Tinubu on this, we have started the process. You know, I don't agree with you on a lot of the presidents, but on this, so the process, actually about Canada, started to end terrorism. I think it come with consequences, but still tall.
Dr. Lati, was, quite reassuring to see the Department of War by your Secretary of War, Pete Epson, respond in the manner that he did. And, I think that was a reassuring tweet that there was this collaboration between the United States and Nigeria. But, when we saw Donald Trump's tweet, how can you fault some Nigerians that believe that this was an invasion by the U.S. without collaboration? That sort of questions out there.
Trump will always be Trump. Trumpism. Yesterday I was saying that, Trump, either for negative or positive reasons, is the main subject of the year 2025 in terms of his interventions within the international space. Now Trump has gone to Syria to have military operation, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, Senegal, Somalia, and now Nigeria. And so, it fits into a pattern. And he's speaking also to the conservative Christian evangelist base in the United States, whom he had promised that he would defend the interests of Christians anywhere in the world. So there's that political subtext to it, to say, I promise to go after radical Islamists anywhere in the world. Now we're in Nigeria. But the clarification came from both the War Secretary, Pete Hegseth, and also from the Nigerians who said this is about collaboration. And collaboration, cooperation has been part of this narrative. With the Nigerian government saying originally, look, we want cooperation. With the Nigerian government proposing and achieving the objective of a Nigeria-US working group on the basis of with two delegations from the US, Kenya, and the National Security Advisor led a delegation to the United States. People must expect some form of outcome in that regard. So there's no need for any quibbling. Number two is the geopolitics of it. Now, I said earlier when Vimai was here, that look, the Americans, AFRICOM, they call it, African Command.
AFRICOM, yes.
Their biggest operation is in Djibouti. But they maintain training, patrolling operations in cooperation with other countries within the West African region, Cameroon, Ghana, Nigeria, and another country. Is it Guinea also? No, I forget the next country. So this operation was from the Gulf of Guinea, from USS Polygnesius. That was where they fired the Tomahawk missile from. And that means that, there is American presence within the Gulf of Guinea. And the geopolitics of it is that it may be Nigeria today, it may be another country tomorrow. Because after all, it's not only in Nigeria that we have terrorism, where they have it in Mali, they have it in other countries within the Sahel. Now America is positioning itself. The third thing is this thing about misinformation. There's a lot of work for the Ministry of Information of Nigeria to do. There's a lot of work for the Defense, the Directorate of Defense in the Defense Headquarters to take on these narratives that are coming up from people who are being mischievous, from people who are being deliberately ignorant, from people who are trying to politicize this. Global terrorism, the main issue is about cooperation. And the Nigerian government must give us information, even about the casualties, in case there are casualties, because as Trump has promised that he will return if he sees that ISIS and Boko Haram are not relenting, then of course we may get to a point where there will be collateral damage, which is the reality of war.
Okay, Dr. Just quickly debunk the misinformation going on. In fact, AFRICOM, General David Anderson, commander of AFRICOM, has confirmed that it was a working relationship between Nigeria and regional partners to increase, so that is confirmed. So for those that say it's only Nigerian authorities, it's not only Nigerian authorities that confirmed that it was a cooperation, it was both AFRICOM and Nigerian authorities.
Only two, and it is style. Read that without
Thank you.
Thanks for retweeting that. Thank you. I'm glad, and like I said about the other tweets, this is absolute good news. Now to Abuja, where dozens of people from the African Democratic Congress took to the streets in the Wuse 2 area to protest President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's controversial new tax reform bills that are set to take effect next week. The protest took place on Christmas Day. And in a series of videos posted on social media, protesters are seen marching through the streets waving posters while demanding an immediate reversal of the reforms. Let's take a look. These protests indicate frustration over this aspect of the government's economic policies, with citizens expressing that these additional taxes could further stretch struggling households and negatively impact citizens' lives. Meanwhile, in Kaduna State, a video making the rounds on social media showed some angry young people attacking a House of Representatives member, allegedly over his defection to the All Progressives Congress and endorsement of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's tax reforms. The video footage circulating online shows the legislator being chased and pelted with stones and debris in a rural community. Let's take a look. Well, all right, this incident also highlights the growing discontent in northern Nigeria over the government's controversial tax policies, which critics allege involve, these procedural irregularities. I know that you spoke with the taxman the other day. Just a quick minute so we can go through the other stories.
That's why we're talking about the importance of factual information as opposed to misinformation. Some people respond and react to things based on half-truths or information that has been incorrectly delivered to them. I think it's important to state, like you mentioned, that there might be questions around insertions in some paragraphs or content of the law. However, if that law is suspended, the tax law is suspended currently, there will be a lacuna.
Yes. And
that's what we're saying, that it has to be, just be well informed.
Yes.
And with regards to that attack on the defected lawmakers, people have a right to defect. However, even if you don't agree with him, say it with your ballot. You don't have to physically assault anybody. You can speak with your ballot, speak with your right to vote at the election.
Yes, thank you for that. But it just shows how angry Nigerians are angry.
So use your ballot. Use your vote.
Use said. Now on our milestones. Today we celebrate the nation's Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, who turned 58 on Christmas Day, December 25th. An individual who has dutifully served in Nigeria's military for decades and who earlier this month stepped into the consequential role of Nigeria's highest military position. General Musa was born in 1967 in Sokoto State and later graduated from the Nigerian Defense Academy with a Bachelor of Science degree in 1991. From then, Musa was commissioned as a second lieutenant and began a military career in infantry roles that later formed the foundation for his leadership positions. He served in peacekeeping missions in Sierra Leone as well as in Sudan, gradually rising through the ranks. By 2021, he was the theater commander of Operation Hardin Kai in northeast Nigeria, running counter-terrorism operations against Boko Haram. He then served as the 18th Chief of Defense Staff from June 2023 to October 2025 before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appointed him as Nigeria's Minister of Defense.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
All right, General Musa is also a recipient of numerous awards, including the National Honor of the Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic, the Nigerian Army Medal, as well as the Colin Powell Award for soldiering in recognition of outstanding military leadership. Now, from all of us at Arise News, we're wishing General Christopher Musa a very happy birthday. I mean, how amazing! Yes, how amazing is that? Now, we first got the good news of the precision strikes, and now it's on his birthday. Fantastic! I mean, what do you say? Good luck. Great news that this whole incident occurred. And again, it just shows that the power of collaboration, is very, very encouraging. Again, happy birthday, General Christopher Musa. Let's take our final story now under entertainment, with Davido officially closing out the epic lineup of Flight Time Festival in Lagos on Christmas Day. The show took place at the Eko Convention Center in one of this season's most highly anticipated shows. Davido delivered a stunning performance with some of his greatest hits, including With You. Let's take a look.
Joining us now on this show to discuss the U.S. military strike against ISIS targets in northwest Nigeria is Mahmoud Jega, Arise News analyst. Good morning, Mahmoud Jega, and Merry Christmas to you, and a Happy New Year in advance. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Okay, very quickly.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, Garvin.
Thank you. Very quickly, President Trump had promised that he will hit Nigeria, guns are blazing. But now, he gave us a Christmas gift yesterday on the occasion of the birthday of our Chief of Defense, of our Minister of Defense now. He used to be CDS, Christopher Musa. He came bomb blazing in the northwest part of Nigeria, in Sokoto to be specific. Now, what's your assessment of this, particularly Nigerian government and the U.S. government saying this was done, in collaboration with the the Nigerian government in faithful obedience of the principles of sovereignty and international law.
Okay, very well. This is a very, very serious development, obviously, of American bombs falling over Nigerian territory. It will be discussed not only in Nigeria but all over Africa. People will be discussing the implications. Every peace-loving Nigerian, and that is most of us, would like to see the terrorists and the bandits and the insurgents and all the other criminals wiped out. And since around 2009, with the beginning of the Boko Haram crisis, we had been appealing to the Western powers and the other international powers for help in order to defeat this problem. And they have been resisting, giving all kinds of reasons about human rights and all that. But in the last 2 months or so, President Donald Trump in particular had been threatening to carry out these attacks, which he has finally done. And there are several issues around that, beginning with the sovereignty issue. But of course, the Nigerian government has said that it cooperated. Okay, so at least that partially addresses the issue of sovereignty. But then there are other issues, like the choice of targets was also curious, because if you say the attack was directed at ISIS, one would have thought that the part where the bombs dropped, southeastern Sokoto State, is the relatively safe part of Sokoto State, and that in Sokoto State too, it is the northeastern part adjoining Zamfara State where the bandits and terrorists are most active, right into Zamfara State and the western part of Kebbi State. And also, it is in the northeast specifically that we have the ISWAP, which is openly paying allegiance to ISIS, as well as the Boko Haram. Boko Haram does not pay allegiance to ISIS, but they have the same modus operandi, and they are the worst of the terrorist groups that we have, because if you remember, only 2 days ago on Wednesday evening, Boko Haram exploded a bomb in a crowded mosque after prayers in Maiduguri and killed several people and injured dozens of others. So one would have thought that if the Nigerian government assisted in the choice of targets, they should have directed it towards the deadliest of the terrorist groups, which is around the Sambisa Forest and Nara Mountains adjoining Cameroon and Chad, and also the Lake Chad, small islets in the Lake Chad basin, which is exactly where ISWAP is located. But of course, the bandits and the terrorists in the northwest are also very deadly, and they also ransack villages, abduct people, kill, and everything. So they are also legitimate targets, probably, although they shouldn't be the most important targets. Then there are other questions. For example, President Donald Trump, his messaging complicates matters. The Trump administration is not exactly famous for helping communities. It even creates problems where problems do not exist. Like in South Africa, you say that there is genocide against white South Africans and you want to save them. That kind of messaging creates problems even where it does not exist. Okay, while the US Defense Department is saying that this attack is targeted at ISIS, President Trump himself posted on social media that he is protecting Christians in Nigeria, a view that the Nigerian government has tried very strenuously to debunk, so that he does not create or rather compound our religious problems here in Nigeria.
Mr. Jega, thank you
Yes.
so much. I need to come in here because of time, but thank you for your
opening statement. Just a few things you said around the choice of location. I don't know if you had the opportunity to hear the analysis this morning. Dr. Bati actually addressed that around intelligence gathering and how in some instances the state or the place of attack is not necessarily where the bandits or the terrorists operate from, where their cells are located. I don't know if you agree with that. Also, you say that you know where the terrorists are, you identified some areas in the northeast. Do you have intelligence to support your assertion? Because this airstrike was said to have been done by statement from both parties based on weeks of intelligence gathering. Even on this platform, we talked about, air surveillance that had been taking place in the northern region. So I just want to ask that, from what intelligence gathering have you got in your source that the areas you've identified are the areas where the terrorists are? And then also with regards to the cells being different from where the terrorists actually operate. What's your take on that?
You see, I don't have any intelligence. I don't have any intelligence agency. But for the last 20 years, since the explosion of the terrorist problem in Nigeria, anybody knows that its central locus is in the northeast. That's where the camps are. That's where the terrorists come out in large numbers with huge arms, and they even overrun military bases. And since last night, rather, when this attack took place, I am essentially from Sokoto State, and I have spoken to many people, and they also expressed surprise. The people in that locality, Shagari local government, when they had explosions, they even thought it was a comet or some other extraterrestrial matter that fell, because as far as they are concerned, their area is relatively safe. But of course, as you said, the intelligence people may have better information. However, as far as we can see, the biggest terrorist camps are around Lake Chad and the Mandara Mountains and in the northeast. And that one is not speculation, because in the last 20 years, we have seen how they launch major attacks, even overrun military bases and confiscate arms. And even 2 days ago, they carried out a terrible terrorist outrage in a mosque in Maiduguri. So it is not speculation if we say this is the area that we think. But of course, in the intelligence agencies, with the help of Nigerian intelligence, think they have got better information. That is fine. Let them act on it.
Okay, two things. How will this affect Tinubu in 2027? I want to get your read of this. Politically, religious-wise, and in terms of narrative in the North, how will this affect Tinubu in 2027? Because from what I've seen now is there's an isolation. Nigeria provided intelligence, America carried out the strike, but I can see from your words that you're not happy that it was even America in the first place. That's the first one. Secondly, I want to ask, what would be the reaction from core people out in the North if these strikes from America continue to be able to get rid of these bandits? But the first question, how will this affect Tinubu in 2027?
No, you see, it is not America as such. After all, for many years since the start of the Boko Haram problem, successive Nigerian governments have been appealing to the Western powers for help with weapons and intelligence and support. And even in specific cases like during the abduction of the Chibok girls and all that, we have been appealing if they can help us to retrieve the girls and combat the terrorists. That's what we have been doing. It is the Trump administration and its communication method that is suspect. In particular, it is clear that President Trump identically plays to his domestic political base for support in his communication and in his actions, which is why he encircles countries like Venezuela, bombing boats left, right, and center in the Pacific and in the Caribbean, even despite opposition, own congressmen and many of his own countrymen. So you have to worry about the motives of an administration like that. And you know, Americans have caused problems where they did things against the advice of the African Union, like in Libya, which in the end is even the source of all the arms that flew into came into the Sahel and created most of the problems that we have right now, and also compounded the problem in Somalia and in Sudan. So that is our concern.
Mr. Jiga, you just made my point. You just made my point for me, because if it was a Nigerian bomb that dropped on the ground, you have no problems. But as long as it's an American bomb, there's a problem with it. And I get that narrative. Secondly, how will this affect Tinubu in 2027? And if more American bombs drop in Sokoto and even in Borno and another part, what will be the reaction from you or people from the north, as long as it's American bombs dropping?
No, I don't think many people would blame the Tinubu administration for what is happening now, because President Donald Trump, when he first made the threats, it was clearly not in coordination with the Tinubu administration or the government of Nigeria, because the Nigerian presidency immediately pushed back and said, your understanding of the situation is not too correct, that it is true we have a terrorism and banditry problem and security problem in Nigeria, but it is not an interreligious war or a genocide against one religious community, as you are pushing. So the Tinubu administration did very well in pushing back on the misguided narrative by the Trump administration. And then they sent all these delegations to the US to negotiate. Of course, those are confidential conversations. We don't know exactly what was said or what was agreed, but probably we are beginning to see the result now. So I don't think anybody will say it is the fault of the Tinubu administration that they have brought the American bombs dropping in the country. I don't think so. And for now, I don't think it will have a serious effect on 2027 calculation, but we will see if the situation gets out of hand in the weeks after.
So if more strikes happen, what will be the reaction? More American bombs, quickly, sir, as we wrap up. If more American bombs drop, what will be the reaction? Despite the fact that Nigeria still provides intelligence, government provides intelligence, in one sentence, if more American bombs drop, what will be the reaction?
In one sentence.
But everybody will be happy if the Americans and the other Western powers provide not only intelligence but also material help to assist the Nigerian security agencies and government to fight terrorism and insecurity all over the country. That's what we have been praying for a very long time.
Well, thank you. That's on that note. So thank you very much for your time with us, Mr. Mahmoud Jega.
It is a shame. It is a very big shame that from every indication, you can see that the northern part of Nigeria is not happy with this airstrike. These people do not want to end terrorism. The northern part of Nigeria don't want this terrorism to end. Many of them that have interviewed, they are not happy. If you go to their platforms, the interviews they are being given, they are not happy. They are not happy. Well, no matter what happens, it is what it is. Donald Trump has fulfilled his promise, and he should continue to go on to protect the people who are being oppressed, more especially the Christians. Don't listen to this bunch of clowns, this bunch of terrorists that come to pretend to be ordinary people. You must not listen to them. Continue to protect the people that need to be protected. It is sad, but that is what we'll see in the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. We'll have a lot of idiots who do not care about human life, who play gamble with human lives. That is why even when you come to help them, they will not be very ungrateful kind of individual. You are asking America to give you weapons. They want to give you weapons so that you carry the weapons and hand it over to terrorists. That is what you want. You want them to give you the weapon, give you information so that you can transfer it to the terrorists. But that's not going to happen. Not in the government of Donald Trump. It's not going to happen. I appreciate everyone that have been with us on this very quick program. Thank you so much for joining, and Try to join us tomorrow morning when we're going to do our morning program. We will continue to speak. We will continue to push information out there as much as we can. May Chukwu Okike guide and protect everyone. I wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy Boxing Day, and New Year in advance. Wherever you are, box and box effectively and stay safe. Be security conscious as always. Thank you so much for listening and stay blessed. See you again tomorrow morning.